Hi everyone, welcome back to my page. So today we're going to get into some shamanism training. And so this is a question I get asked a lot, and that is, what is shamanism? And while it's super easy for me to explain Reiki to anybody and everybody, really, um, describing what shamanism is a little trickier. So in the beginning, my first teacher, he practiced what is called core shamanism. So he was from the Michael Harner School for Shamanistic Studies. And he did have Native American blood in him as well, but he had lost all contact with his people, and he wasn't really raised in the way. So he was my first teacher, and I studied with him for about 2 years. And from him, I mostly learned about the journey, which is a very significant part of practicing shamanism. And so in the beginning, I thought I knew what shamanism was. And it wasn't until I started studying with indigenous people, indigenous medicine men and medicine women from different tribes in the desert southwest. And each and every one of those teachers, one of the very first things they told me when they met me was, in our tradition, we do not have shamans. They're either called doctors or medicine men or medicine women. So that really intrigued me because I thought, well, what does being a shaman mean then? If it's not Native American, what is this? Where did it come from? So I started to do a little bit of research, and yeah, there's so much out there. Um, what I basically learned is that the term shaman, it means, translated, it means one who travels between the worlds. It also means a healer. And what I also learned that in the East, especially eastern part of the world, a lot of tribes did have shamans as well as medicine people. So the shamans kind of took care of the ceremonies and the spiritual health of the tribe, while the medicine men or medicine women would, take care of the health, the physical health. And also with the food, that was also a part of medicine people. So through all my research, I discovered there's really no concrete definition of what being a shaman means, and also what it entails. And so it's more, I think, based on your own experience of it. There's a lot of similarities between the different practices all over the world, and that's where core shamanism comes from. But each practice is individual, like even within a tribe, the different households in the group may practice a little differently than they do from each other outside of their main ceremonies. Another important similarity between all the shamanic practices around the world is that there's a very, very deep and heavy respect for the earth and for Mother Nature, which is why I really love it. So, in all these cultures, their belief is that everything has spirit. So all of these trees back here, even the rocks, the giant boulders, the trees, the moss, the river itself, they all have spirit. And they recognize that and they celebrate that. Not only that, but their survival depended on it too. Their connection with the land and with all the animals and the plants. Their survival depended on that connection. And of course, as the world became industrialized, we lost that connection. So I think that's what really drew me to shamanism in the first place. Not, you know, wanting to be a warrior or any of that really. It was just my deep love and respect for the earth and you know the beauty of the practices itself. So that's why I decided to share that information with you. We're going to start with the basics because if you're really drawn to this path, I find a lot of people, you know, they just want to jump ahead and get to the what they call the good stuff, you know, the spiritual warfare, the healing. But really, it's a dangerous work if you don't know what you're doing. It's not like Reiki. You know, Reiki is all love and light. You can't do any harm with it, and you're protected. And with shamanism, it's different. It's very different. So you have to start with the basics, and and then work up from there. So today I wanted to talk a little bit more about, you know, and if you want to learn more about shamanism, there's so many books out there. Michael Harner is a good place to start. Um, and then if you're drawn to a particular region, I would look at what the tribes are in that area, and then do your research from there. And because you'll see that each one is different as well as similar. So the the first thing, you know, if you're gonna dive into this practice, there are some tools that you're going to want to get, and that's important. So these are the tools that you will use throughout your practice, and I'm gonna just start off with the first one, and this one is a feather. Feathers are used a lot, both in healing and in ceremony, and also with smudging. These are used a lot. And if you already looked at the prayer braiding video, this is one of the things that you can do with your prayer braid. So I'm going to wrap this up, you know, and I'm going to glue it on so it's all nice. And this will now be my ceremonial feather. So we'll do a class on feathers. But you'll want to get one of these. The other thing you would like to get is some tobacco. I try to get the organic kind, one without a bunch of chemicals. This is for leading offerings on the ground and in ceremony. And you will also want to get other herbs too for smudging. So this is Palo Santo. I also have some sage. I'm really excited because I'm going to start growing sage for myself. Another thing you're going to want, I'm just going to bring my drum over here. It'll be easier. It's, of course, a drum. Now, you can get a synthetic drum or an animal hide drum. There's a lot of debate about using, animal versus synthetic. There's benefits to both as far as care. Animal hide this is the elk hide drum. It's cracking pretty bad. It's probably not going to last much longer. So you need to take care of these. And synthetic drums, you don't really have to take care of them. Both equally powerful as far as journeying. Uh, I feel like other people would disagree with me, but um, I do personally. I don't see a difference in the power of the journey. The only thing is that when I use the elk hide drum, I tend to find the elk come into my journeys or into other people um, who are journeying with me. So that's an added benefit of having an animal hide drum. The spirit will come. But synthetic drums are just as great, in my opinion. Battle. I got this one from my last mentor, Cree Medicine Man. He made this. Definitely gotten a lot of use. It's all chipping. Good battle. And you'll learn about these more in depth because I'm going to do a video for each one, and I'll talk more about how they work and why they work, and all the different ways that you can use them and different purposes. The other thing, two other things very important, believe it or not, is a knife. This is good for when you're out foraging, or if you need to cut sticks or whatever. Always good. And a compass. You can use the compass on on your phone, but it's not as reliable. So you want to get like an old-fashioned one. It's not really old-fashioned, but you know what I mean. So you want one of these. And then let's see. Yeah, that's about it for this, and your voice too. Be learning about songs, music has a lot to is featured very heavily in shamanism, which is probably why another reason why I enjoy it so much. And yeah, so in the next video. So you're going to want to go ahead and pick up some of this stuff. You don't have to get it all at once. It'll just be something to think about as you move forward in your practice. And so I'm going to sign out for now. And in our next video, I'm going to talk about how to build an altar, create a sacred space, and how to smudge. Aho.